What's up guys, it is I, once again, Yusuf Al-Sanad, and today guys, I want to share my thoughts with y'all on the 7th season to HBO's Game of Thrones, a series yours truly is a huge fan of. I loved Game of Thrones ever since I first saw the first season, which was introduced to me by my younger brother and older brother, and ever since then I've loved the series so much. I've seen the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and now the current season of Game of Thrones. The story to Game of Thrones, which was adapted by HBO, is based on the novel series by George R.R. Martin, the novel series being A Song of Ice and Fire. While yours truly hasn't read the novel series, I do have interest in doing so because I love Game of Thrones. I love the story, the characters, the themes, ideas, and politics explored in the story. I love the diverse personalities to all the characters, their motives, what they hope to achieve, their desires, and everything that would come to define them for who they are and their purpose in this world, whether in Westeros or Essos, the two continents in A Song of Ice and Fire, or in the adaptation of George R.R. Martin's writing, Game of Thrones. When discussing the season 7 finale of HBO's Game of Thrones, I won't give any spoilers away. This whole video in which I share my thoughts with you guys and gals will be completely spoiler free. I'm going to briefly describe the plot, you guys and gals, for those of you who have not seen this episode, which is titled The Dragon and the Wolf. Episode 7 of Game of Thrones, titled The Dragon and the Wolf, opens with Daenerys Targaryen and her army arranging a meeting with Cersei and her army in King's Landing, to which Cersei Lannister, the Queen of King's Landing and the Queen to all of Westeros, and Daenerys Targaryen, who represents House Targaryen and the rightful heir to Westeros as the Queen. This meeting between the two has been arranged by Tyrion, Bronn, and of course Jaime Lannister. Jaime and Tyrion Lannister being the siblings of Cersei. And for those of you who are familiar with the story of Game of Thrones, whether in the novel or in the TV show, Cersei Lannister clearly hates Tyrion. She hates him, loathes him, and despises him ever since he was born. So Tyrion Lannister is basically a dead man walking, or a dead dwarf walking, as he's going into King's Landing. He is no fool because he knows that Cersei could kill him at any point in time with just one order, one command, but Cersei is willing to listen to Daenerys Targaryen and her plea for a truce. This truce between both countries, both houses, both nations, Queen Daenerys Targaryen of House Targaryen and Queen Cersei Lannister of House Lannister, it's only for a time until they defeat their enemy, their common enemy, that being the army of the dead. The army of the dead who are led by the Night King. He is not to be underestimated. It's because of this imminent threat, that being the Night King and the army of the dead, that are coming to Westeros. Cersei Lannister and Daenerys Targaryen have to coexist. They have to make this truce work, at least for a time, until their enemy is vanquished. Once their enemy is gone and the Great War is over, they can go back to being enemies once more. When this meeting does take place between both houses, Cersei Lannister is very unconvinced about the army of the dead because she believes it to be a fantasy, a story told to children just to scare them to bed, until they presented Cersei Lannister with evidence that proves that the dead do exist, that evidence being a corpse, one of many corpses of the dead themselves. Upon witnessing the dead charging right at her, Cersei is convinced that they do in fact exist. It took some time for Cersei to agree to a truce. It was actually Cersei's brother, Tyrion Lannister, who had to convince Cersei about the truce. Tyrion is finally able to convince Cersei to join forces with Daenerys Targaryen until the dead are defeated, and now we have an alliance between Queen Cersei Lannister and Queen Daenerys Targaryen. This truce, this alliance, is vital to achieving victory against the dead who are marching, and winter has in fact come. Winter is here. This season, guys, has been absolutely amazing. I love the story, the characters, the performances by every actors, especially the actors who play Jon Snow, Daenerys Targaryen, Cersei Lannister, Jaime, Bronn, Tyrion, Jorah Mormont, Sandor Clegane, the Hound, Sansa, Arya, Brienne of Tarth, Littlefinger, also known as Peter Baelish. Each one of them played their roles so well. The story is what had my attention. It's the story and the themes and ideas explored that has me hooked onto Game of Thrones. There is so much about this episode I love so much, one of which is the bond between Daenerys Targaryen and Jon Snow. Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen Targaryen have established a kinship and understanding for one another. Judging by the way Jon Snow looks at Daenerys Targaryen and judging by how Daenerys Targaryen looks at Jon Snow, they obviously love each other. They haven't known each other for a very long time, but you can tell there is love between them, or at least a connection between the two. Jon Snow has always been known as a loyal man, a man of his word, just like Ned Stark before him, Ned Stark being his father. Though Jon Snow's loyalty is one of stupidity, because Jon Snow knows, as loyal as he is quite stupid and he puts his trust in others first. He trusts people, but he fails to understand that people aren't like him. Jon Snow believes in loyalty, honor, duty, and respect, which those people don't believe in. Jon Snow is loyal, he is good, but to a fault. So Jon Snow's loyalty to Daenerys Targaryen isn't just because he is a man of his word or he's loyal to his queen. Jon Snow's loyalty goes far beyond that. He loves Daenerys Targaryen, he loves her and wishes to protect her. Her sacrifice, her loss has strengthened Jon Snow, it strengthened their bond and made them both stronger. It gives them hope that there is a future after the war, after the Great War, once the Night King and the army of the dead are defeated. What happens between Daenerys Targaryen and Jon Snow is left for us to find out. I love Game of Thrones Season 7. It sets up the events for the upcoming Season 8, whenever that's going to arrive. I'm looking forward to it, as I'm sure you guys and gals are. Season 7 of Game of Thrones is so amazing, it's so fantastic, and I do recommend you guys and gals watch the series if you haven't already. That's my thoughts on Game of Thrones Season 7. Thank you all for watching, hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe if you wish, and do check out my gaming channel where I do Let's Play series, gaming content, all that kind of good stuff. Until next time, peace out, take care, adios, amigos, au revoir, and sayonara.